welcome back to the Wellness Podcast tonight. How you guys doing? Yeah, of course, we're always excited to go on, but tonight's show is going to be, some of y'all may find me a little, I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. But anyway, tonight's show is called Your Time is Your Time Show, the mindset of a time bender. Yeah, you guys know that I'm so grateful to my subscribers, for coming on and at least checking out my content. It's oh man, it's a feel good equation. I tell you that much. I appreciate you. I'm grateful to you. I'm thankful for you. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, keep following. On my other platforms. Also, check me out on wheelthispodcast.com. Go buy some merch. You should. It's nice from my designs. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, I'm just doing what I got to do. To make you feel more symbiotic, man, more like fluid. Like we learning and doing the things we got to do together. We not uh we not acting as if we brand new to anybody. I told you, the more you subscribe, the more you get. I can't wait to the point to where when everything sets in and I'm able to be more interactive because I do have limitations due to the fact that I have so many subscribers. That's cool. That's wonderful. But you have to watch the shows, and I love you guys watching my shorts. Don't stop. Keep it up. Globally, you guys have made me so appreciative of your appreciation for the show. So I humbly would like to tell you that's how I own my time. You guys help me own my time simply because the more you watch, the more I go on. And I'm grateful to you and I'm grateful for you because you found me entertaining, goddammit. But anyway, this is going to be a hell of a show tonight because it's going to be a lot to this Own Your Own Time show. There are so many distractions. There are so goddamn many things that can keep you from understanding who you specifically are. And you also have a lot of perpetrators and pretenders. There's so many people that want to cosplay. There's so many people that want to be something that they're not when they so are extremely unappreciative of who they are. Those two things don't go together. We're gonna explain how tonight, and this will be a book share. I didn't put it in there, but we gotta do the books. That's the foundation of the show. References, references, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is the last drink for the night. Yeah, I have like three. Should always be your limit. I always have some, moderation and limitations on what you do. Drink responsibly if you're gonna do that. And also, throw some alkaline, some acidic stuff in there, like some lemon and lime, a little vodka, yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, we will be advertising more products when they come in. It's gonna take a while. This show is brand new, guys. Let me be honest. I haven't even got started yet. Not with the shit I'm about to do. I ain't even got started yet. So when I tell you KB24, we ain't taking no more. Yeah, you see the shirt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rest in power to the great one, the Black Mamba. I ain't done that Kobe show yet on purpose. I promise you. Kobe, just to give you a preview to the show, I guess I could. Just to let you know how much Kobe Bryant meant to basketball. His name is coming up a whole lot now because look, everybody's seeing the crash case LeBron James is. Poor thing. Anyway, you're a good man, LeBron. You should have remained it that way. You should have never, ever allowed yourself to be exposed due to the fact you don't have a signature move. You've always been this sort of ferocious, just stay in your lane. But when you're talking about your greatness is better than Jordan, and man, you're not even a Pippin for real. Like let's get beyond that. But anyway, we have a book share tonight. As I promised, initially it's going to be about some real, yeah, some real corrections. See, a lot of times, when you don't understand American history, you don't understand American values. You see, a lot of people think of America as this place that was just never no. I think in a lot of Black Americans' mindset, rather they know who they are, whether they be indigenous, whether they be whoever the hell they think they are. But I think globally, they think I really think they when they come to the United States, they really believe the the conscious lie that's being told on a continuum. See, when you like I say again, it is so far more valuable to listen to a Black American Indian. I would even say a foundational Black American. There's a difference. Foundational Black Americans' history began in the 1700s. Black American Indians' history don't have what you would call a start date at all. So foundational Black Americans shall be and will continue to be respected on this show simply because we're kind of one and the same at this point. You understand they're indigenous here at this point. Ethnogenesis is a real situation, and you know this globally. You understand? You know this. You act as if you don't. That's why, you always want something you don't care to pay for. You are surprisingly far more uh have the characteristics of a Caucasian being a foreign Black person than you know. Even the indigenous South Americans know better because they know how they were infiltrated by foreigners as well. Ask the indigenous. They know about the Spanish. Go to the favelas of Brazil, and they'll tell you how they're treated by foreigners. So a lot of these people that come from these countries that say these forbidden atrocities, I bet you any amount of money. Go back to the homelands of an Argentinian, of a Chilean, of a Colombian, or a Venezuelan, or even a Brazilian, I mean Belizean, any country in the new Central America, because North America is the original Central America. You understand? Home of the mound builders, the Mississippians. Okay. Then you have what? Well, you got Mississippians. You got, a great deal of tribes that are, Powhatan, and you got the, Pamunkey, and I'm going random because those were part of the Cherokee Nation. Then you got the Mississippians of the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Natchez. We're going to get into a few more things tonight, but I'm just getting started. I mean, the show is brand new. I've only been on 5 months, going on 6. The reason why I felt it very and extremely necessary because I think a lot of people got a lot of little intricate things in history wrong. So I'm a reference builder as well as a person that just so happens to like to know who he is, not out of arrogance, but out of sheer passion. To be yourself takes guts. To be someone that someone wants you to be, shit, that's easy. That's fucking easy. It's extremely easy to do. But when you don't take no wooden nickels about you simply because of what you were tasked with growing up from a very rugged society, my who I'm speaking of, but just you're made to do something in life, meaning solidify yourself and not need anybody's stamp of approval. Not a being, maybe an entity like the United States government, which I am going to prove. See, if you want to take, I mean, it's quite ridiculous how these spells of not knowing or wanting to pick your possible too loud. No one has relativity without a root. There's no such a thing. You just didn't pop up out of thin the fuck air. Let's get some music playing. We're gonna do some music, some book sharing, okay? Yeah, how about that? You ain't pop up out of thin air. And I'm gonna show you how you didn't. You came from a place. But it's so crazy how people don't want to own where you actually come from. That's a hell of a psychosis. And how your brain and your mental mind concepts tell you never to build where you are, but go and take from someone else. As a matter of fact, they're doing so well, I just don't even want to see them do well. As a matter of fact, it's disgusting how well they do under any circumstances. Do you understand? There was a post that people make all the time. They live in America. They function on the American system. They gain from being they want customers, or they teach, or they live in areas. But a lot of times, if you live in black neighborhoods and you have people that are foreigners, they live in a house, and they enjoy living. They don't go outside much. They just they plot and scheme and make sure they have a transactional relationship with people and not a real relationship with people. Now, there's some, but not all. But see, when you have a foreign person that comes into your land that looks like what they would perceive as the under or the low bottom class, not knowing their status, not giving a damn about who they actually are, but as long as they can earn and out achieve you. See, that's why, foreigners look at you like the joke's on you. They look at you and say, you can call yourself black, indigenous. We don't care. Look at you. That is that's some vile shit. Especially when you know who that person is. Now you think about your actual behavior. And I want you to really, really ask yourself, and this goes for foreign blacks as well as Latinos, whether you are Caucasian or Afro Latino. Ask yourself one question. Are you an ethical person when your most conceived notion, whether subconscious or conscious, to go to another nation and on purpose cosplay that you are better than the class of people that the only reason why you had the ticket to go there was because of them in the first place? That's some real wicked shit. And then you come here, wave your flags in their faces as if they don't know who they are, as if they don't have a birthplace, as if you're not intruding on their space. See, that was, I told you I wasn't coming up off this shit because you have to own your time when you're a black American. You really have to own your time, because if you don't own your time, you can spin off into a place of anger, deceit, and hatred and hostility like the shit that's bestowed upon you. But why would you do that when you know that subconsciously, do you have it better? Not necessarily. But it seems like when blacks do come here, if you exude the right behavior, mannerisms, and appreciation. I mean, I have a hell of a lot of foreign black people in America that I get along with very well because we have the same mannerisms. We don't lie. We're pretty transparent. We have very in depth, good conversations that lead to very positive outcomes because guess what? They don't ever leave out dealing with a person like me, their humility. See, that's what I need from you. You foreign blacks, you have a problem with humility. You have a problem. You always want to chastise. I told you again, that shit ain't working. I will never do business with a chastiser. I would never even affiliate myself longer when that person turns because they show their face. They actually do. Foreign blacks, when they come to America and they deal with they deal with Americans. Oh my God. The the subconscious disrespect is off the charts, and you just let them go. You just let them just fester in their checking of you as if I'm the whoa, wait a minute. You never listen, but you're always in the position to think that what you have is better. Not when I bet on myself. Shit, nothing you can do. Nothing you can do is better than what who I am and what I am as far as betting on myself. So that's long term. That's legacy. That's not relying on no one else. That's home. The Willis podcast is home grown. No loans. Okay? Let's just be clear. Homegrown, no loans. So let's get to some book sharing. All right. Let's get to how we've gotten to this situation. First book we're going to share is this right here. Here we go. An Indigenous People's History of the United States. Let's take a little dive into this. Okay. I got a couple of pages marked out. Pretty good. And it's just, they're my randoms because I like to make specific points. So when the people that watch the show understand why I make specific and actual points from references that are very I mean you can take a look and check out, who the person is and why I chose to read from their commentary because it's respectable. Okay. So that's how that goes. All right. So here we go. All right. Mm. Yeah, it's the gas. It's kind of what I have to do. In April 2007, and all news seems to be coming from Virginia, was about a murder, the murder of indigenous farmers that commenced 400 years before which the founding of Jamestown and the rampage at nearby Virginia Tech University on April 16, 2007. Yet no one commented in the media on this, oh, juxtaposition of the bookend of colonialism. Jamestown was famously the first permanent settlement that gave birth to the Commonwealth of Virginians in colonial epicenter of what became the United States of America. Nearly 2 centuries later, the colony out of which was carved the United States capital, Washington, D.C., on the river which mouth lay up the coast. A few years after Jamestown was established, the more familiar, revered colony, Plymouth, was planted by English religious descendants under the auspices of a private investigator with royal approval, at which Jamestown and the same mercenary activities personified at Captain John Smith. This is the beginning of the British overseas colonialism after the conquest of the colonialization of the Scotland, Wales, and Ireland turned England into Great Britain. The Virginia Tech killings were described in 2007 as the worst mass killings and the worst massacre in U.S. history. Descendants of the massacre, indigenous ancestors took exception to this designation. It was curious in the media circus surrounding the Jamestown celebration in which Queen Elizabeth, president of the British Bush proceeding, that the journal fell and compared to the journal to the current to the col- colonial massacre of Powhatans, my people. 4 centuries earlier, the single distributed individuals, shootings of his classmates. The shooter himself was a child of colonial war of U.S. was in Korea. So let me turn the page and let me explain. Mediating on the first major 5 U.S. wars since World War II in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq, 2003, which flashed of historical memories of Jamestown and Ohio Valley and the Wounded Knee, bringing us to the essence of U.S. history. A red turned blood connection of first white settlement in North America, which today and the future. A military historian, John Grenier puts in U.S. people are taught that their military culture does not approve of and encouraging targeting and killing civilians who and known little or nothing about the nearby 3 centuries of warfare. Before and after founding the U.S., the reduce of the indigenous people of the continent to the few reservations of burning their towns and fields and killing civilians, driving the refugees out step by step across the continent. Violence directed systematically against non combatants through the irregular means from the start has been a central part of America way of war on the Powhatans. Like they just said, my people, I am a specific Powhatan by blood. So if you're talking about a Powhatan that has a light copper complexion, I'm not saying they're not a Powhatan. I'm just saying I'm the original Powhatan. You understand? Powhatan, Pamunkey. Okay. Not a monkey, Pamunkey. Anyway, the doctrine of discovery. The whip covers the fault. In 1982, the government of Spain and the Holy Sees, the Vatican, which is nominating state members of the United Nations, proposed the UN General Assembly that the year 1992, the celebration of the United Nations as an encounter between Europe and the peoples of the Americas, with European bearing the gifts of civilization and Christianity to the indigenous people. To the shock of the North Atlantic states that supposed Spain's resolution included the United States and Canada, the entire African delegation walked out of the meeting and returned with an impassioned statement commending a proposal to celebrate colonialism in the United Nations, which was established in the proposed end colonialism. Do you see the goddamn hypocrisy in this craziness? Wow, this is what cognitive dissonance is at its fucking height. So let me keep going. Damn. Well, where's my water? Here we go. Damn. Damn. Well, I tell you. Yeah, doctrine of discovery, right? The doctrine of discovery has reared its head in the wrong place. The resolution was dead, but it was not in the end of efforts by Spain and the Vatican and others in the West to make the quintessential a case for celebration. Only 5 years before the debacle in the UN General Assembly, the indigenous people of the American Conference in the UN Geneva headquarters had proposed in 1992 had made the UN year the morning of more of an onset of colonialism, African slavery, and the genocide against the indigenous people of the Americas. And on October 12th, designated the UN International Day of the World's Indigenous People. As the time drew near to the quintessential, Spain took the lead in fighting in the indigenous proposals. Spain and the Vatican also swept no, spent years and hung sums of money preparing for their own celebration of Columbus, enlisting in the help of all the countries in Latin America except Cuba, which refused and paid for the withdrawal of Spanish financial investments in the United States. George H.W. Bush administration cooperated with the project and produced their own series of events. In the end, compromise won. The United States indigenous people garnered a decade of the world's indigenous people, which officially began in 1994, but with the inaugural UN headquarters in New York, December 1992, August 9th, and October 12th was designated in the annual UN International Day of the World Indigenous People, and the Nobel Peace Prize went to Guatemalan Mayan leader Rigoberto Menchú, announced in Oslo, October 12, 1992, a decision that infuriated the Spanish government and the Vatican organization celebration Columbus flopped. Thanks to multiple highly visible protests, and indigenous people and their allies particularly supported the protests of the indigenous people and their allies. Particularly, sport grew in the work of indigenous people and the United Nations to develop new international law standards. So, therefore, real problem that, well, first of all, that's the solution. Black Americans now, we have our memories back. We know who's who, so therefore we have no problems. But what I was about to say, the problem is we have a series of cosplayers that really like to be American, and they don't like their homeland due to the fact that their homeland is under, is under Russian rule, Siberia. They're Putin's people. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to really completely understand the indigenous peoples of the Americas have never been nothing but all shades of copper, not war beings that went to school to be colonized and to cosplay and to cause continued amount of aggravation, acting as if someone is not who they say they are by blood when you know who you are. As I told you. Oh, what? We want to go to court? Let's go. I can't wait. I invite us to just let's just go now. Let's get out the way. I mean, I have every single solitary piece of to make sure that you understand if we aren't related, faking, you know that's you. Specifically you. And you know this. I ain't gonna that's it's corny for this, but let me show you something else, you Siberia. J.A. Rogers told us specifically. See this? Let me explain something to you, pale Indian. I'm talking to the pale ones, not just necessarily the red ones. If you're pale, you're pale. Let me explain something to you. The people of the world globally are specifically indigenous. I don't give a shit if it's Korea, Japan, China, Thailand. My land right here in America, where I'm from, Pensacola, Florida, Mississippian, Choctaw, Alabama, Mountville, Mississippi. Come on now. I can't be out American. If you trying to out American me, you in a shitload of trouble. That's impossible. You understand? I ain't even got no trace of African indigenous roots. All of my indigenous roots are this is a mother, a Maroka, a mother Mary. Sure, my African cousins. Do I love you? Yes, I do. We share the same beautiful, gorgeous stuff. But goddamn, you act like you own it. You don't. How about that? You don't own shit. You don't own copper complected. You're a carbon complexion, but I'm a copper complexion. Love you, brother, but stop with your antics. Stop acting as if you don't know how to respect me and stop acting like you don't know me. Because last time I checked, it was a shit ton of damn American Indians that went to Africa. Indigenous Americans went to Africa. There were also, let me show you these other. They went to the Americas and they were from Africa. How about that? They went to the Americas. They were exiled to the Americas, but they was from Africa too. They were exiled to the Americas too. How about that? Really? Let's go to Russia. They were exiled to the Americas too. Let's go there. I just showed you this before. I'll show you again. No problem with me. I have no issue. I have no issue whatsoever because yes, but I would never ever act as if I don't understand that the whole globe was covered by Aboriginal people that were dark skinned with afros. What book is this? Oh, the history of the history and art of Russia, of the Russian icons. I told you about Russian icons. I told you I'd bring it back out. Yeah, I showed you. Yeah, Russia never enslaved no black people. They just inherited the white supremacist superiority complex from their neighbors. Let me show you some things that you will never see. See that? Oh wow. Check him out. Okay. Yeah, that's the same icon showed in Silver Riza, St. Peter, dated 1895. Wow. So when they say blacks, oh, no. Think about the stallings of the world. You don't understand that these black aristocrats are not long ago. You understand? Oh wow. You ain't never seen no shit like that before, huh? Look at that. Daniel in the lion's den. I mean, come on. Let's get real. Check it out. Let's get real. See this? So the reason why there's such a concerted effort to never not let you know who you are is because you are their gods. That's who we are. The indigenous people. If you think about indigenous, if you think about etymology, what is an engine? Something that makes everything run. So they get that term from ingenuity. Who has the ingenuity? The indigenous, not the foreign cosplayers of any nation. What you do is take and submerge into your own cultures, which is why Europeans never had a culture. They just knew what was identical to what their gods emulated and what they like. So they had the happenstance to understand the connections that the globe, so that made them the masters of the understanding of what was around the globe, the civilized cultures globally. Not that you were the civilizer. That's how you get things misconstrued. You have never civilized yourself. let alone anyone else. Let's just be clear. And that goes for every single solitary European or pale person. You have never learned the art of civilization from yourself that was taught to you. And you know it. So let's practice some honesty. We're kind of done with lies. Let me put my books back. They're fragile. Give me a second or two, please. Thank you so much. I'm coming back, damn it. I'm coming. Because I want to show you. I want to show you some chronology here. You know what this is? You know who this is. This is David Kilmer. These are the things that you kids gonna learn in Harvard, okay? You're gonna learn about how they create Marvel, how they create DC, how they create all of this shit, man. They get it from, people that studied way before, like the Joseph Campbells and I mean, shit. Uh Joseph Campbell, Hero with 1,000 Faces. See, both versions. A Hero's Journey. That's how you get Marvel. That's how you get, you know. H.G. Wells is another one. That's how you get those magnificent chronicle stories that actually have or birthed it in. Let's do this right here. Let me show you some. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, here we go again. The Necronomicon Gnostics. Ananacalis. See, Necronomicon. So you what? Negro. That's why I'm their child. Negro. Why you start with N? If you understand, let me read you what N the letter N really means. Since you hate Negroes, hate niggers, and hate everything else that starts, you hate gods. Oh, I just hit it in. Yeah, that's what it is. Give me a second. Let me read you why you hate the N word is so you shouldn't say the N word. I'll explain why. Give me a second. I'm gonna read it to you. Don't get me wrong. No. I'm gonna show you the value of the word N. I'm coming. I'm not slow. I'm pretty witty and quick. I'm gonna get to it. Give me a second. I'm gonna sip with my citrus. I'm almost done too. We've been cooking for 39 minutes. I gotta go. Okay. Let me get to this damn word. Let me get to it. Okay. Kenneth the House of McAlpin. I just want to let you know that. Okay. So, all right. Yeah. Where's that page? Okay. I got double books. I abused this one. I read a lot. All right. Ooh, here we go. This is gonna be some deep shit, so I'm gonna go as fast as I can. The Christians converted Moors. Excuse me. Now, mind you, this is Kenneth McAlpine. Here you go. Mind you, this book is the Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. The Christian converted Moors Pitch it. Kenneth McAlpin, AD 843 to 858, who is also called Naga Valdub, was the first king of Scotland, Alpine dynasty. The Scottish archaeologist David McRitchie stressed that Alpine, the father of Kenneth McAlpine, was a half-black pint, a half-black Scot whose son Kenneth was first to merge with two foremost branches of the blackest in the Scottish. When Kenneth McAlpine died, his younger Moorish brother Donald the First succeeded him. Following the death of Donald the First, his nephew Constantine the First, the older son of Kenneth McAlpine, succeeded him. Constantine the First also suffered a defeat and was beheaded. The Septuagint, this where it says this in the Septuagint, and Geneva Bibles, in Zephaniah 12 2:12, Ethiopians are identified as Moors, Marus Black, or Marons. And that's why they made the term morons, because the more Moors that run, they take over. So they call people morons as a disrespectful term. Understand that? So check this out. After suffering a defeat and beheaded by the Vikings, was succeeded by his Moorish younger brother, Edith, who resigned was short-lived. After the death of Kenneth, Edith, his nephew, uh, Yonchin, a cousin, Gregory or Greg, succeeded the throne and ruled jointly. Following their abduction, Inchiat, cousin Donald II, son of the Moorish Constantine I, ruled the throne. After the death of Donald II, the cousin Constantine II, and the Moorish Edith ruled Scotland. And Moorish Constantine, the son of the Moorish the second, who chose to become a monk, voluntarily gave up his rule, and his Moorish cousin Malcolm I, the son of Donald II. Every king who followed Kenneth MacAlpin was also a Moorish descendant. MacAlpin descendant Kenneth Dove, Nigger, Niger, Duff, or Duffy. And that's why Puffy may call himself Puffy. He may be the one of his descendants. And all of his ancestors were called the son of the blacks. And the foremost popular African Moorish king to rule of Scotland was Kenneth MacAlpin, Niger, Devil, Dove, Kenneth, the nigger, Macbeth, and James MacAlpin, nigger, Devil, Kenneth the Niger, Macbeth, and James. Oh, yeah, the fourth. King James, VEI, were to become the first African Moorish Scottish kings of England. All ruled Scotland until the 17th century, were descendants of Kenneth MacAlpin, neither through the male or female, either through the male and female line. The African Moorish Kenneth MacAlpin, Niger, Davos, and the 33rd great grandfather of Elizabeth II. Do you understand? So, who's a nigga? Your daddy? You should stop using those terms because that. Okay, let me keep on going. I can go with Donald. I can go with Malcolm the First, Indolf, Kenneth the Nagadog, and I can go with many Western scholars recognize Malcolm, the greatest grandson of Kenneth MacAlpin, and his second, the son, Kenneth II, and the greatest royal ancestor today, Queen Elizabeth II. Yet the same scholars, because of their personal prejudice, have totally ignored Malcolm's first son and the brilliant Kenneth the Niger, who was the popular glorified as his father, Malcolm, the sibling in many preceding kings. Western academics continue to downplay Kenneth the Niger in several reasons. The military skills surpassed the greatest great grandfather of Kenneth MacAlpin, the Valdub, and capacity to reside, including the family members of in the vein of today's European royal families, the House of Windsor, whose have generally bleached themselves white as descendants of Kenneth the Niger. These are many of the reasons why Anglo historians have erased his historical impact from the pages of history. Now, these are actual facts. This is Cullen and Kenneth. Okay? Why I know this? Hell, I'm connected to them. They came here. Their kids came here. Their kids became part of the kids that my grandparents are. These are my grandparents too. That's how I know. You understand? This is how I know. I told you y'all didn't know who I was. I told you I know who I am. For you to ever say that I'm not black, or I'm not a royal, or I'm not who I say I am. I am exactly who the fuck I say I am. Bar none. Specifically American Indian. But also, yeah, they came here first. They were exiled. The icons were exiled. Where did they have to go? They didn't kill all of them. They knew their way home. Do y'all understand that? They knew how to get home. Why do you think the world wanted Amaruka? Yeah, they had already chastised and got the African out the way, mentally enslaved them. Easy pickings. As you have to understand the difference between an Amarucan copper colored being and an African. This is the difference. And I was told this by an African. And I hope you don't mind me sharing globally the difference between who and what people are with their mentalities. See, with the black American, if I see a gun, I will pick it up and I will store it for safekeeping and I will utilize it for my safety and the safety of my people. The African will see the same gun and will stay away from it simply because it understands what it is and it can hurt people. So it won't understand. You will not understand how to use that to your advantage. That is the global mindset and the difference of who we are. But we don't use weapons against people just to dominate them. We only use weapons how to defend ourselves because we are a dominant people once left alone. We are the most dominant once never bothered or rendered or tortured or talked down upon. We will show you the light of yourself and the world if you allow us to. But that doesn't give you the right to try to deceive me, dominate me, lie to me, and act as if I am not who I am. That is what makes you a low life, regardless of who you are. You are low vibrational, low life being because your life depends on destroying and deterring and deteriorating mind. That's a low life. Black Americans have no choice but to use their time as being Timerians, happy, loving, peaceful, appreciative, adept, and learning. And those that get in the way of our progress, we don't have to be on the main stage. We're quite peaceful being at peace. But when you defile our peace, you will see the reflection of you. We don't see our reflection in you. We see our reflections in the mirror because we know we have no friends. So we have no ability to be delusional, cognitive dissonant, or disturbed. So I need you to understand that's the show for tonight. Always understand how to do something with your time. Your time is your own time. So to spend it dispelling myths, rumors, and tales on other people means I live in your motherfucking head rent free. I think you should take another approach because you're worth it. You really are. Bring some to the table. Stop complaining about me and mine. Stand up, Black Americans. We own ourselves. We don't have the interest of owning others. That's the show tonight. Thank you. I hope you loved the show without the music. I had to be real Ty Maryish with you tonight. Peaceful, loving, happy, and specific. So thank you. Thank you for loving and watching the show. I hope you appreciate it. And I hope you remember this. You know, this is my favorite part. The wheel is yours. That's right. You like that wheel? Motherfucker. Right. I love you too. All right. Y'all subscribe. Go to the wheelthispodcast.com. You know, check out the merch. You know, I'm getting some of my damn stuff. I can't wait till I can wear my shit on my show. Man, that's just gonna be dope. But anyway, oh yeah. Anyway. Anyway, all right, check it out. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Uh, we love y'all. Good night. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, all that good shit, man. Do that. Do that. Share the show tonight. Do what you need to do. But anyway, we love you. Peace. Take care. Be easy. And remember again, the wheel is yours. Get some merch. You can buy some shit. It's all good. It's nice too. I know you're gonna like it. It's quality material. Yeah, I don't do no trash. I'll let your ass. Peace.